What is going on, everybody? I hope you're doing well. Like I said in the description, I am not. I don't know if I'm getting sick or what, but oh, we feel like poo poo today. Oof. Like I said, the show must go on. So here we are. Stop Humpty Dumpty. LFG. uh, I'm here in the conference room, party room, whatever it is, that I built in my base. This is so you guys think that I have all these friends that come over, especially on the weekends, and hang out. We eat and drink and make merry and do all sorts of great things. Um, I think only one other person's ever set foot in this room since I built it, but and that was just for a few seconds to look at it and then roll. So honestly, it's just kind of a flex room where you test your design capabilities. Although I am noticing something here. These bowls and plates and stuff in front of me, uh, they're like the worst plates ever designed. Because like you see the pattern around the outside, and it's like, oh, that's cool. But if you look at the bowl in the center, you can see the thing from the table through it. So I hope there's some kind of glass involved in there. Otherwise, unless we're eating spaghetti tonight, it's not going to work out too well for us. Oh, let's see. Um, let's start out with the dumb thing I did, and why you shouldn't be like me. Don't be like me, because this was dumb. At first, it started out like, yeah, whatever, let me go do this. And then when I realized how bad it was horrible. I have been focusing pretty heavily on just getting missions done for the Landsrad so I could get my skill specs up, like my combat, things like that. And I wasn't really going around and collecting the items that the houses were giving to me. And we did that for a couple weeks. And I was like, oh, I should go see these people and just clear those out. Wow. I had to go to every single person. I had to make like a little screenshot thing and decide whether I was cutting it off or not or what. And some people didn't have anything, which didn't surprise me, but some people had a few items. Some of them actually had a sliding bar underneath from where apparently I'd just been go team for them. But hey, kitty. Yeah, you get down. You didn't want to be held. It's, it was a lot. Got a lot of Solari out of it though. So my advice to you is keep up with that stuff because man, you let it build up, it sneaks up on you. I actually had to make 3 trips from going around to seeing everybody back to the base to drop off all the stuff I was getting from them, and I still haven't even sorted it out. I sorted some of it, like I put the blueprints away. I put the Solari where it's supposed to go, but man, don't do that. Keep up with that, guys. There's an extra step in there. Do the missions. After the week's over, go see the people. If you don't know what I'm talking about, when you're in a guild, you can hit L and you go to the Landsrad. Look at us, Atreides, superstars this week. But when you do something for them, you get this stuff. Sometimes it's like 700 is usually some Solari or something small, like improved Holtzman actuators, nothing big. Some of the other stuff is pretty cool, like that Bloodshot buggy engine. It's very helpful. But you need 10,500 points. And let's say you do, like I was doing the combat ones, you can see here we got 20,000 points for these guys, which means I got to go see them again this week because I was just doing combat stuff. 7,200. But yeah, once you do these little things for them and you get the points towards them, they give you stuff. And when they give you stuff, you got to go collect it. Otherwise, it builds up. So, anywho, let's go ahead and leave our chair here. This room is pretty nifty. I should do more stuff with it. But anywho. Ooh, on the agenda tonight, we are going to talk about our Deep Desert Fund. One thing I've always complained about was the fact that I have always seemed to have more Stravidium than Titanium. Even though their productions are relatively the same thing. Fuel cells. Yeah, I still got some stuff to sort out, don't I? But we made a lot of this. I just wanted to get production going, so that's what we did. But anyway, we ended up always having more strontium fiber. I keep it in the box right here. As you can see, it's empty, which is a good thing. But if we go over here and try to turn it into, oh, that's, there we go. Sometimes I'll click on it and it thinks I have no water. Like here I got 273,000. It thinks I have none. We still got 1,733 strontium masses, which we're going to turn into 577 strontium fibers because we got the water for it. Boom. Oh, I'm losing my co-pilot. He heard Mom. Let me get him out of here. Hold on. Oh, I'm coming, buddy. Just give me a second. 1 second, buddy. Go see Mom. Oh, sorry. Hit you right in the head. Oh, man. Person. So the dog wants out when he hears Mom is downstairs, but I don't know if you can see him, but the cat don't give. You don't care, do you? Yeah, you don't care, do you? Right? Meow meow? Don't come over. Alright, so we got 571 strontium masses coming. And I was always running low on titanium. And I could have solved that problem by just going out to the islands and farming from there. But I didn't really want to do that. I usually play by myself. It's opening myself up for attack. So I would just hit the shield wall, and a smarter man would just hit the titanium nodes. But I can't do that. Every time I pass something, I'm like, oh, I'll find a place. So that's what we ended up doing. And we just always seem to have way too much, strontium. So now that my strontium mass is almost empty, let's take a look at titanium. Look at that. We are way full. So we took a carrier with the cargo container and broke our buggy down, threw it in the container, brought some fuel cells, landed out in the open, and we mined the crap out of titanium. Solved that problem. So I can no longer say that I seem to have so much strontium, way more strontium than that. It's actually so bad that we were able to make this, which it's not a lot, but it's good. I mean, it's a pretty good amount. But I also have these boxes here for plastanium. And we had to stick some of this titanium ore in the box as a finished product. It's supposed to go, because as you can see, it's plastanium storage 3. I like to label my boxes. Because we had so much of it just to get that container clear. Excuse me. And then I was thinking, what am I going to do? Now I got to do this. To figure out, because this is plastanium and this is titanium, and that's just wrong, and it makes me have anxiety, and maybe that's why I'm not feeling good, because I didn't sleep well last night. How's the water production going? That's what we're going to talk about in just a second, bro. But yeah, so we solved that problem, and like almost everything that happens in Dune Awakening, we created more problems. Like, where am I going to put all this stuff? And I wasn't going to create a bunch of boxes just for ore storage. And I thought, you know what? We'll just stick it in the finished product box. It'll be okay. It's where it's going to end up once we put it in the machine over there anyway. So I'll be emptying these out as we go along. But it completely filled everything. Now we have a strontium problem. I'm not real worried about it, though. But it also created another problem. And that is water. If we come down here, get this little water tank over here for when I come in on the buggy and things like that. And as you can see, we have 1.68, so we'll say 1.7 million reserves of water. We are down to 218. This actually got down into the hundreds. We used up a ton of water making all that plastanium. And that was compounded by the fact that I'm a dummy. Because I wanted to make my rooftop units, a little designy, kind of thing. I've seen some other bases where people had them kind of enclosed in walls, and it looked really awesome. And I was like, dude, that's cool. I want to go do that. So I did it. And then I didn't quite finish it, so we wanted to do more. So we came up with this where it kind of encloses it. Now it's weird because it looks kind of strange here with this big open thing. That actually was a covered roof, and it looked really cool. And while it was looking cool, it shut my machines off because they technically became water sealed. I don't know how they're water sealed with all these gaping holes everywhere, but the game decided, nah, that's water sealed, bro. And yeah, they shut down. So the whole time I'm out there gathering ridiculous amounts of resources to process, these guys weren't putting anything back in, and it took me far too long to realize it. That's actually not the first time that's happened. So we came out, and I was watching the water reserves. Ooh, sorry. And we just started taking chunks off until we finally got to the point where the machines turned back on, started producing water. Arrakis, what can I say? So that did kind of stall us. And then I thought to myself, you know what? We'll just park right here for now. It's like, ooh, I know what I can do, because I don't really rely on death stills that much. They're great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they aren't. I just don't rely on them that much. I prefer the passive thing. Put a bunch of traps on the roof and just throw some filters in there. And when I'm sleeping or when I'm at work or when I'm out doing stuff with the fam or whatever, it's making water for me. And up until now, it's worked. But when we do this ridiculous amounts of production, it doesn't work. So I had this cutesy little area. I'm going to pull out my shotgun for no reason. This cutesy little area where I had 2 death stills, and that worked out okay. I got some boxes here with some bodies in them, and then as I needed water, I could just pop it in there. We'd throw in between the two of them like 80, 90,000 water, It was enough. It's not enough anymore. So we got some problems. So I'm going to throw some people in here. I don't remember when or where I killed these guys, but I did. So there we go. 15 minutes, and we'll get a bunch of water. And we're going to put another one in this. And we got them both running. It's actually kind of creepy if you sit here and watch it, because you can see the bubbles go through these pipes. And like the flat surface turns into a shape of a... If you're ever really, really, really bored and you watch this, it's a little too accurate. They could have just gone from this to they didn't have to do any of that stuff. Could have just made it like, instead of a cloth thing, just like a refrigerator. Like, pop it open, throw them in there, close it, and walk away. How many death stills you got? Yep, just these 2. But what we're going to do is we're going to make a change. I have in here these 2 rooms off to the side. Originally, they were just for aesthetic reasons. And then I ended up sticking all my water tanks in there. I don't even have a light in this room because I never came in here. For the longest time, my crawler sat here, off not being used because I made it for the achievement, but didn't do it. So what we've done now is we put a box in here, which this box says morgue storage, because we are going to make more death stills. And I'm just going to have them here, probably turn them off so they aren't drawing power, because they don't need to. But we're going to make it so that if this kind of situation happens again, we can be a little smarter about it and throw a bunch of bodies in the death stills. I'm going to leave the 2 up top just for the, every so often things. But yeah, we're going to make some water in here. I'll probably get back into doing blood extraction. Haven't done that in forever. We'll throw some blood extractors along the wall, because that's actually really good, especially if you get when you have the skill for it. You're rocking 10 death stills, probably should go full passive. Well, let's look at it this way. When you first start out this game, you just can't stray too far from a flower field. Get your little sippies, and then, it goes up to that top bar. Then you get to the point where you can actually make like a cistern, and you have the Dew Reaper things where you could fill up your leader johns and you could dump them in a cistern. I thought I was king crap at Turd Mountain when I had one of the small cisterns full of water. I was like, dude, look at me. Oh, that's awesome. And then you start getting your wind trap units to put on the roof. And then you put them up there and you're like, shh, I ain't going back to the flower fields at all. Actually, my first base that I built, not the Haggis South one, but the actual Vermilius Gap when I moved over. I built right near flower fields. So every time the sun was getting ready to come up, I would head out there with my Reaper and collect a bunch and run in and dump it in there and storing all this water and stuff. And then when we got over here, we really put the big boy pants on, and we made these ginormous cisterns, and we put them up there, and then we got those units on the roof. I got 6 large wind traps. It's worked out well. And that keeps you going if you're just kind of doing your own thing. But once you start getting crazy with things like making tons of spice or making tons of plastanium ingots, and if you're selling them on the market, giving them to friends, sharing them with your guild, whatever you're doing, you're going to find yourself in the same situation I am, where I had one problem, not enough titanium, too much rubidium. Solved the titanium problem, turned the machines on, and now all of a sudden I got a new problem. Hey, you're out of water, bud. Because I was kind of built for 2nd gear, and I just kicked it up to 5th. So what we want to do is use up this space here. We're going to put some desk stills. So in the future, if we do this, we can match our water production with the resources we're bringing in. And that should work out pretty well. Can't do it now because whenever we try to solve a problem, we create other problems that don't have enough duraluminum at the moment. Been focusing on making a bunch of plastanium. So after we solve the water problem, or an attempt to solve the water problem, we now have a duraluminum problem. And I know exactly what's going to happen. We're going to start making duraluminum, and then we're going to run into an aluminum and jasmium problem. So we're going to have to solve that. This is how this game gets you. But that's going to be the focus. Over the next week, you'll start to see a hospital where we don't take very good care of our patients showing up here. We'll be making some body runs. And eventually we'll get the skills that allow us to pack them in a lot tighter. Normally a body, get the hiccups, sorry. Normally a body takes up 75 volume, but there is a skill that you can, a specialization that you can get that will allow you to make them smaller. They only take up half as much space, so you can fill this thing to the brim with scavengers and chome mercenaries and slavers and everybody else. We took a dark turn here, guys. Holy cow. So that's what we're going to be doing. Right now we are stuck in our own lack of resources by getting more resources, by trying to get as many resources as we can. So we're going to wait. And that's the goal. We're going to let that thing run. We got other stuff going. Everything's going to be just fine, though. So, for the rest of the night, we've got a deep desert base that we need to take care of. Normally, what I like to do is on Sunday, I'll get a bunch of stuff producing and we judge what kind of water situation we're in out there. Do I have a lot? Do I have a little? If I've got a bunch and I don't use it right away, I'll turn the machines off and start taking some things down a little early because the Coriolis storm happens overnight tonight. Anything left out there is going to go boom, boom. So we got to get out of there. But I was a bad boy yesterday when I would normally be doing that. And instead, I was out shooting people and getting shot by people. I did not do well. I gotta be honest, I did better than I thought I would. I figured I'd just be getting flattened, but I took some shots and it wasn't stellar performance, but I had fun, and that's one of the big things. So before we do this is my layout, and this is my upper hangar. Got the carrier right here, got my cargo box here. I usually park the crawler in this little spot here behind it. This needs an update. I'll be working on it. We started kind of updating it here. These boxes are for those moments when I need my cargo container. Like when I went out to go get titanium, I went out there, I dumped everything that was in the container box in here and took it out there empty. Then when I come back, I just switch it back over. So that's what these guys are for. They are currently unlabeled. I know it's horrible. Shame to my family. But you saw it a second ago. This little box here has a bunch of empty liter johns. So of various conditions. Usually what I'll do is I carry one on my taskbar down here in 5, so that's why you see me tapping 5 all the time, even when I move something out. As this thing gets more and more and more and more and more and more broken, I will eventually switch it out and it goes into this. And what I'll do here is, let's say I'm out in the deep desert producing a bunch of stuff and I need more water, but I haven't made anything back in Haga. I'll fly back to Haga, fill these guys up here, take them back out. Now machines are running in Haga, building up the water I just took. I just brought a whole bunch more out. Life is good. But then I found a whole bunch of these things, and some of them are in better shape than the one that I use on a regular basis. But we're going to take all of these empty guys, including this one Mark 6 liter John. All these are Decas, and this one's that. But we're going to stick them in our cargo container. I got a couple fuel cells just in case I get stupid and find myself without any, because I didn't prepare at all. So that base has been running, and I don't think there's a whole lot out there I can make, and we're running out of time. So empty water, it's going to be great. Now we got ourselves our carrier. So we're going to snatch this little sucker right here, get it back over before it yanks us down. I've got to make a better way for that to happen. I did a second base for another purpose. It's still up. It's actually got a little spot in the back just for the cargo container box. So we got to update that upper hanger, but we got other problems to solve first. So we shall auto fly, and we are heading out to our deep desert base. Somebody, when I was making that base, put up, and I don't know who it was, and I'm so sorry about that, but they had left a comment and asked about doing the Celo and how that works and everything. So we're going to kind of talk about that tonight, because I want to make a few changes to what I refer to as my deep desert combo base. I call it that because I can do anything I want there. I can make, I can process spice. I can process plastanium or aluminum. Can't make duraluminum. I could, but I don't bring jasmium out to that place. I got like a repair spot. I have parking space for the crawler and for the buggy. So whatever I want to do, I can do. We can even get fighty if we want to out of that base. It can support everything. So it's the one I've been using, and I'm a big proponent of making things so they can evolve. I go kind of big on the floor plan, so if we need to make a little room here or a little spot or whatever to accommodate a new concept, like now we have cargo containers, we can do that. So that's what we need to do. And I'm going to make those changes prior to scanning the base with the Celo so that I have it on record. And when I come out next week, if we do, I'm not sure what we're going to do yet, but if we do come out, then I'll be able to pop that sucker up pretty quick. And in fact, I'll probably do it Monday or Wednesday anyway, just to show the follow-up to what we're doing right now. So here we are. Let's see. CO Meeks, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Watch your videos. Very informative and helpful. Love your base. And have you ever done a full base tour? Would love to copy it on my place. Keep the videos coming. Can't copy my base. If you want to copy my base, absolutely go for it if it works for you. If you want to improve on it, by all means. I would not say it's perfect, but it serves me pretty well. I'm waiting to do like a walkthrough or like a moment like I just did. I don't hide what's in my layout, and if somebody was nefarious, they could kneecap me pretty well. Be able to survive it though. There's worse things that could happen. All right. Is there a power generator? Yes, there is. Actually, I have some out here, so we're going to go see them. But it is a spice-infused power generator. You will need irradiated slag, which you can get from shipwrecks or radiation areas. My preferred spot is the wreck of the Tyche, which is on the overland map. There's tons of it out there. And you can also, you also need some spice residue, which you get from processing spice. Boy, do you ever get it. But you do that and you add it to some fuel cells and boom, it makes it. So what I've been doing, and this is suffices, but it's getting to be kind of annoying. You'll notice I just did that in my main base, is we'll sit here and we'll drop this, right? And we get it lined up and then we start heading this way. So once it clears, it shoots off to the side and that gives me clearance to land. I don't like this anymore. It's getting to be annoying to me. And it's my own fault. So we're going to have to make a change to where this thing's going to have a set place to go. I don't know where that is right now. We're going to find out. Before I get too crazy with things, let me come over here and show you what I was talking about. Boom, right here. So these are spice-filled generators, or spice-infused, spice-powered generator, sorry. And it uses these spice-infused fuel cells. This thing's expensive to make. Everything out in the DD, when you make it and you tear it down, you get all that back, so it's not that big of a deal. But can be kind of costly to keep them running, but you get 28, 31 days, something like that, out of each one of these if you fill this up. As you can see, though, I got 100 in here, and that's only buying me roughly almost a week. So you're gonna need like 400 or 500. I think it's 498 fills it completely up. But they're good because because they give you 1,000 power. There's a huge debate as to whether or not this is worth it. I think it is, in respect to the fact that it doesn't take up much space. I don't have to mess with it. I just put it over here, pop it in, and away it goes. I got to do something with spice residue because there's so much of it from processing big batches of spice. I just like, I got to do something with this. One of the few things I've given back to Arrakis, I've thrown it in the sand and just let it go away. It was worse when you had to go to Shoal to get your irradiated slag, but now with the wreck of the Tyche, I'm swimming in that stuff. You saw I just had like 800 or something that I stuck in a box. I like these guys. Quick, easy, pop it in here, fill them up, walk away for a month. Doesn't get any better than that. They're enclosed inside. I'm sure these fumes aren't good for me, but I got other things to worry about. I do have some just regular generators out here, and I've got units on the roof too. We'll go take a look at them real quick. You can if you want to, but I think the best way is to kind of hybrid power, hybrid water, these types of things. Well, any one of them will work. You just have to make sure you've got the proper quantity. These guys here will they will work for 350 power. So almost 3 of these for one generator that was downstairs. And this thing uses this industrial lubricant, which you make out of residue and other stuff. These guys, you just pop them up here and again, fill them up and walk away for a long time. As long as you have enough of that material, you get 350. One thing about this, though, that you do have to be careful with is when you're out in the deep desert, something crazy happens. In Haga Basin, storm comes through, your base shields never shut down. The only time your base shields shut down is when your power usage exceeds your power generation. But out here, wrong thing. There we go. See how it says perfect, but there's that little bit of damage that she took. And in order to fix it, I'm going to have to use some duraluminum, some cobalt paste, Servox, and spice. Those are the things that are required to make this sucker. Anything that's exposed takes a little bit of damage. When a storm knocks your shield down, people can't get in, but your base shield goes down. Same thing happens to your walls on the exterior walls. You can see how these guys are, you know, a tad bit of damage. This takes damage a little bit as well, but if we go inside, and let's see, this one should be, yeah, see how this is perfect? Because it's actually inside. These guys here and the hanger on the other side take the punishment. This guy gets to stay perfect. I didn't do anything to them since I built them at the beginning of the week, and this is the amount of damage it took. It's negligible, so it's really, you don't have to worry about it. But what it will do is if you sit down and get yourself to the point where you know exactly how much of every single material you need to build your base, and you break this base down, stick it in a container, and say, I'm going to use that next week because I got 100% of my stuff back. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Some of the damage that you took that you didn't repair doesn't come back to you. So if I broke this down, say I had nothing on me. If I break this down, I'm going to be 2 duraluminum, 2 cobalt paste, 1 calibrated Servoc, and 1 spice melange short to make it again. Sneaky. But I usually bring out excess of everything that I need, so it really doesn't affect me too much. The first time I did do that, it does get quite big here. Like, I only need 1 plastone to fix this wall, but you know what? There's like 100 walls. So it does add up, and you'll be quite short if you think you're going to just bring the same amount out. I don't know if I even used this machine. I don't think I did. But we used these two. I'm going to jump over here real quick. We got fuel cells sitting in there. So we did make some strontium fiber. I think I can make more. Hey, 128. I'm not going to do that because it takes time. Not a whole lot, but 828 of them is a lot. I'm just going to tote this 2400 strontium back. We'll worry about that problem in Haga. Here's that industrial lubricant I was talking about. You get some spice residue, some silicone blocks, fuel cells, and water. And it makes 10 every time you do it. But it'll take a couple hundred, 500, I think, to fill up those rooftop units. And here's that spice infused one. This one takes water, some fuel cells, quite a few actually. Spice residue, 65 of them. Honestly, I wish I took hundreds, because then we get rid of the stuff. And then some irradiated slag, and that's what I was talking about, getting from the wreck of the Tyche. But yeah, you could make them out here if you really wanted to. The irradiated slag is the only thing that you don't get while you're out here in the deep desert, as long as you're making some spice. The spice residue will pop down. So if you bring out some irradiated slag, you can make 10 fuel cells. Keep that generator running. This guy, we got some use out of this. 10,000 sand, and we're going to bring back 5. Could go out and get some, because we do have 1,000,000 water, and I don't have enough liter johns to get that much out. But then again, it's a question of time. If I start something now, I'm going to be playing for several hours at least. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to go out and get myself 5,000 spice sand, so I could make one more batch. That would take 75,000 off this number, and that would make life a little bit better. And it's probably going to take that much time, or I could make that much time. It's like 45 minutes to make a batch. I don't have any queued up. It probably says it somewhere, but I'm not looking at it. But yeah, it's about 45 minutes, I think, to make a batch. So I think we'll do that. No, we won't. Yeah, we will. I was going to say we won't because we didn't bring out the items we need, but the buggy is the thing that we've already brought back into Haga, because I needed to go get some ethereal ethereorite crystals in order to make Cobalt. Out of everything. What's the matter with me? Am I even playing this game? What am I doing? This week, here's what we got. Pretty decent amount. Wasn't really trying that hard. Was kind of just stretching the premise more often than actually doing something. But yeah, we got quite a few. If you think about it, you're getting about 200 spice from every batch. I get a little bonus every now and then. So each one of these is 2 batches. And there's 9 of them. 8 of them that are 2 batches. So that's 16, 17 batches. We churned it out. Would have liked to have gotten more and could have if I tried hard enough, but I really didn't. So this was just a couple good runs. Filled up my container, brought it back. Here's all the spice residue you get from doing that. I gotta calm this down, man, or we gotta be able to combine this into something. Honestly, even if we just combined 3 or 4 or 5 of these and got 1 melange, I'd freaking do it. I've got a box this size full of spice residue. And I make filters and things all the time. It just never seems to end. So right now, that's our big issue, is we've got a bunch of water. Like I said before, we're going to turn all these machines off first. Yikes. They're off now just because my water is full, but if I even take a drink, they're all going to turn on. So we're going to come in here and disable them. And we're going to shut all of them down just to make sure they don't put water back, because we don't have the time to play around. So I got 3 down there, 3 here. 6 just like in my regular Haggard base. I just don't have enough storage out here. Yeah. So all the water shut down. These guys aren't going to turn on. I could break them right now, but I don't want to do that because I have not made a Celo copy of this. I have an empty Celo gun that I made sure to bring. That way I can copy this base so that next week or the week after or whenever I decide to come back out into the deep desert, we can pop this down. The way my base is laid out, I need to bring several things with me. I need the Celo projection in my backpack. I need some salvage metal in order to make my sub beef. And then I need a couple staking units. The way this layout goes, I have to put one to the left of, well, that's dumb because it depends on which way you're saying. I got to put one regular staking unit to the side because it takes up 2 blocks. And if the ground's not perfect and level where I can build it, I may have to do a vertical one as well. They cost Solaring. I've got a pretty decent amount of that, so it doesn't bother me to make those, even though it goes away for the week. But, and then I always bring enough to make at least 1 large container, or the medium container, whatever the ones are. The big plastanium containers. That way I could transfer a bunch of stuff from the cargo carrier into that so I have immediate access. Otherwise, you got to keep going back to the cargo and putting it in your backpack and using it from there. What a pain in the butt. Who has time for that? So, I need to make a Celo copy of this. But like I said, we want to make some changes. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a bunch of room. Let's do this, and you can see that we are right on the edge of our, let me do this. We are right on the edge. And when you look here, this, I used up every inch of my projection. And you can see this one comes in super close as well. And then, as I told you, we have 2. That's why the box is so big. This one's the original, and then this is where I put the staking unit. And it looks like, yeah, I did do a vertical one here too, because I just couldn't fit it in the spot properly. But I do have some space out here that we could make. This is just 100% visual, so it doesn't matter, but I kind of like it. So even though I could put it here, I don't want to. But what I can do is I can put it right here. That's got some possibilities. What I'm thinking I can do is get rid of these undersides here and then make a little extension coming off this way. And then I'll be able to drop the cargo container in here and not have to worry about it. And then I don't have to swing around or do some crazy stuff. The only problem with that is I've got this guy sitting right up here. It's not going to work. My goal is to be able to bring it up and out occasionally. So I need to have a pentashield on top of it where I can get to it. So that unit right there at least would have to go. I don't know if that's what. Would you recommend mixing power generation or just making one type? So you only need to make one type of fuel. When you first start out, stick with the small generators. The machines you're making aren't going to be using a whole lot of power. When you finally get access to the rooftop units, the first little boop. So the first one you get is that, which is just the regular old generator. I guess I should get to a place where it's actually going to show up. Boop, right there. These guys are fine. It's like 75 power, but it takes nothing to make them. And the fuel cells that you need to run them, they are everywhere, especially out here in the deep desert. But even in Haga Basin, you'll find them. There's something there, etc. Once you break them down with your cut array or your buggy, depending on where you're at, pretty easy to get. So this isn't a bad thing at the beginning. My phone's going up. I'm very sorry. As you progress, you're going to start being able to make bigger and more machines. So once you get access to this guy here, you're going to want to do those in addition to power generators, the regular standard fuel power generator, and keep just moving up. For this, you've got to make low grade lubricant, which you're going to need that medium chemical or the chemical refinery to do. It's not hard. Once you get these guys, this is where life gets a little interesting. This is throwing 350 power. And as you can see, I have 3 of them up here. But this takes up 1 block. So if you make this, it's going to take up that whole space, and you're going to get 350 power out of it. If you stuck with these guys, you could fit 1, 2, almost 3. There's going to be a little bit of overhang. And then you can do like another 3 here. I've seen people being able to squeeze 9 into this. The most I've ever done, I think, is 8. I'll do 2 kind of off-centered and put those in. These are only generating 150, but for the amount of space you have, you're able to put 8 or 9 of these guys down versus one of the big generators, which means you're going to be getting 1200 power out of the same square. That's worth it. That's a pretty good deal. And you can refill these instead of going up to them and refilling them. You can refill them through your sub fee. If you just walk up to it, say refill generators, this is considered a generator. So you get to a really weird spot where these guys, they're pretty cheap, just a little bit of cobalt paste, some steel, and calibrated servox. Keep in mind, I'm in the deep desert, so this is half of what you normally would need to make. And if you fly around, you'll see a lot of people that do that. They've got a bunch of these guys generating way more power for the same footprint as you do here, which is really cool. The reason I don't use these is because I don't need that much power. It's a little bit of overkill. I try to keep myself, like, let's say my base, if I turn everything on, uses 3,000 power. I try to have at least for probably 5,000. Let's say my base is only using 2,000 power. 3,000 to 3,500. I don't really need to go too crazy and too overboard. It's also the same reason why when you fly over people's bases, sometimes you see these things on the roof, but they aren't spinning because they don't need that much power. They just made it. But I do like to do kind of a hybrid. As you can see, I've got 3 different power generations on this one base alone because I have a couple spots where we've got some regular fuel generators. I've got those spice ones down in the stairs, and then I got these guys up here generating power. I always like the hybrid concept, not to get too crazy. Most of these I only put up because I get the base built, and I've got these pentashields, and I got the lights, and I got all this other stuff, and I want that to be running so there's at least a base shield in case a storm does hit. I'm not taking superior amounts of damage, or people can't come in and mess with me. But my advice would be get some rooftop units, fill them up with lubricant and walk away. Go with some spice generators, get some of these guys to kind of fill in the gaps. But I could have done it from up there. The real kicker is going to be this number right here. So this base can make 3,500 in power. 2,000 is coming from the units downstairs. All the rest is the stuff up here and those other generators. It shows here I'm only using 700, which looks like I'm in great shape. But keep in mind, I just turned all of these guys off. These guys are using 135 each, and I've got 6 of them. So there's like 1,000 power right there, just in my water generation. And I usually turn the machines off when I'm not using them. It's not a guarantee though. And you see I got no power. This guy, he's going to use 350. I like to be able to run everything if I want to, but I rarely do. So I did a whole video on powering your bases, and that was actually a couple months ago, and it still kind of holds true. So if you look on my playlist, you could see that it's definitely helpful still, and it keeps you from some of the pitfalls. For instance, like when all those machines are up, like let's say this was at 3,500 and I was doing 3,000, right? And then just because I was thirsty, I came over here and boom, hit this thing. Well, that 3,000 was with my units up on the roof, the water traps not running. When I take a small drink, immediately they're all going to turn on to replace that water. Not just one of them, all of them. I've got 6. It's going to be 1,000 some power right there. And that's going to overload the circuit just by getting a drink of water. So you have to be careful when you do that. But short answer, yeah, I do the hybrid stuff. Put the best things you can, and it really depends on the needs of the base and the amount of space that you have. If you have a lot of open space and it doesn't bother you to pop up a couple extra units, or maybe not be in the super awesome most efficient use of your space, go ahead. And it also depends on where you're at in the story, because if you don't have plastanium, you can't make some things. If you don't have duraluminum, you can't make some of those things. Follow along with it. Just make sure that your power usage is about 3/4 of what your power generation is, and you'll be fine. If I siege hop with a carrier and cargo container, will I keep everything? Yes. If everything goes as planned. The reason I add that little caveat in is because I honestly don't know what would happen if you were siege hopping and in the midst of transitioning or transferring from one siege to the other, your game crashed, or a tree fell and took out your power and everything in your house shut down. I don't know what would happen in a situation like that. I do know that if you lose your vehicles, which your carrier and your cargo container are considered both vehicles, you can get them back, but you can't get anything that was in them. So let's say you put everything you own into a cargo carrier because you're going to fly it over and make a new base, and your game crashes in the midst of it. When you log in, you've got nothing. They might give you the vehicles back, or even from your own tool, you can get them back. All the stuff in them is gone. It's always a little bit scary when you get creative with your cargo carrier. Do it. Danger's our middle name, but it's not supposed to take it. The first time I transferred my buggy full of stuff, full of ore from the Deep Desert to Haga, I was like mentally preparing myself to lose everything. And it's funny because when you get to Haga, you're looking at your carrier and the cargo container, crawler, buggy, whatever you were towing is behind you. So I'm standing there and I'm like, yeah, it took it, didn't it? And then I turn around and I say, oh, it's right there. Okay. Ran over to it. Everything was in the inventory. So short answer is yes, but if bad things outside of the game's control do happen, you might lose them. Okay, so we are going to go back to what I was thinking, and we're going to make an adjustment right here for our carrier container. I'm sorry. So I'm going to do this, and we're going to go to demolish, and then I'm going to hit a button that makes me go to that, and there we go. So we're going to get rid of this and this and this, at least for right now. And I think what we'll do okay. I'm not going to destroy that. I'm going to move it. I have this area up here set up with enough space that I can, now this guy here is as far back as it can go. You see, boom, it turns red right away. I think, well, no, actually I can go back a little bit further, I think. Dabs a little bit. You know what? We're going to call it a win. And then this guy almost fell into the hangar. Should be able to pop in there, which means I can move this guy back a little bit. And if we're lucky, boom. Okay, so now that's cleared up. These aren't lined up. I'll worry about that in a second. It will bother me, but we'll worry about that in a second. I've always done this little setup. I think what we'll do is we'll expand this out, and maybe I can clear up both of these things, and this whole area could be that spot where I drop my cargo. The more I'm thinking about that, the happier inside I'm getting. Okay, so we're gonna come over here to build, boop, and we gotta go here, and we gotta go here, and we gotta go to roofs. It's actually just a floor. I think that enough. Let's just do it, right? Okay. So we got floors there, and we're gonna go always put the handrails in, safety first. I have yet to get a OSHA violation, safety violation from the Imperium. No reason to start now. This guy, put that there, and then let's see. It's off-centered, which normally would cause problems, but it's not really bothering me right now. I do have to be somewhat careful because right on the other side of this is where I have my desk stills. If we break this little chunk and section of wall, that's going to be an issue. But I don't really need to access my carrier container from here. I don't actually have to walk up to it. I can just go up to a box and allows me to access it. So if it's non-accessible, that's not going to be the worst thing in the world. All right. Goodbye walls that I thought were pretty cool and was pretty proud of doing. So there's that, right? And we're going to go to structural. Yeah, I can leave it that way. It'll be okay. I believe my handrail is preventing me putting a block in there. So let's demolish the handrail and see if that solves our problem. I don't know. I don't make the rules. How do we want to do this? I would like to do 3. I could do 3, that would be perfect. Let's break this wall. Let's hit the wrong button. All right, let's break this wall. There's the desk stills. The door is right here. These guys don't need to be in here. And I don't normally have more than 3 desk stills in this room. So I think I've got room there for those guys. I think we can actually just break these guys here and there because we have enough and we've got room outside if we really wanted to. We got a bunch of fuel cells there. Holy cow. So we can move you. Horrible. There we go. Snag that one through the doorway, of course. Looks like that first one I put in at an angle. Did I? Not just the first one. Garbage. Dude. Grab it the way you're supposed to, and there we go. I don't think that's lined up. I know that one isn't, but we get a little weird wall thing here. So I can actually put 2 more desk stills in here. I can access them pretty well. The only thing missing is this is a big box of bodies. And unfortunately, I don't have a place for that to go. Wait, I do. I can put the box of bodies right here. We'll face it properly. Oh, it actually is faced properly for these guys. This would be a decent little secondary room. The reason I did that is this frees up here. Oh, okay. That's not an actual sandstorm. That's the Coriolis one. Let's go ahead and move our light to the corner. And we're going to build the walls that were here right here. I like to do whatever this is. I don't know. It's wall number 3, but I like that as kind of a foundational wall, like the bottom. And then I get a little decorative when we go up higher. I didn't hear, but we're going to. We're going to use these. We could put just a regular wall, put some fancy stuff up there. Doesn't matter though. At least not now. This'll work. That'll work all right. This allows me now to come in here and I'm gonna break you and you and you. And I can't stand you or you. Glad you're gone. All right. Let's break that because we can't have inconsistencies. My God, we're not savages. Outer face? No. All right, why won't you change? Thanks. Okay. So this should be plenty of space to drop one of those bad boys in. I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to do this wall all the way around it because it's going to have a penta shield on top and I don't need to worry about people coming in. And I think a penta shield will go in here just perfectly fine. Let's see. Back to you. Back to utilities. Why they're considered a utility, I have no idea. All right, buddy. Boop. And built. And I did it wrong. Crash. Although I could have just done like, you know, 2 of them. Made it look like it was barn doors. All right, that looks like this might just work. I'm going to go back to the Atreides set, back to special because handrails. And I think we'll go ahead and we'll just do the handrails all the way around. And there we are. So let's go see if it works. Come on, back up. See, this is the problem child of doing it the way I have been. Also, if it hooks the wall, it starts to drag the carrier down. But let's see what it does now. And it's a tight spot, but you know what? I think all right, let's line it up. Are we good? Are we good? Like a glove. And now our problems are solved. That is excellent. So now we don't have to get all swoopy and cute. It's very small, only a minor addition, and it didn't cost us anything as far as equipment and machinery. That is perfect. I like it. I like it a bunch. Like I was saying, though, if I want to access this, technically I can jump in there and grab hold of it or interact with it or just using a box within the base. That's one problem solved. Let's talk about our second problem. And I've complained about this a whole bunch and just never took the time to fix it. If I fly in my scout into here and then I want to get into the base, I would always either run out this door and go in there and cross the whole hangar to the steps going down, or most of the time I would just run outside here and I want to be able to get to every place from every spot. You know, I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to have to run outside or across the entire width of the base at this point just to get in and out of a room. Below me right now are my the water tanks and the destils. So let's do this, and we're just gonna break that piece, and let's see what's under here. Hello, death stills. You see where we're going, don't you? You can see it already. You're like, dude, I know exactly what you're about to do. I'm about to put a stairwell right there. Yes, sir. Because I wasn't necessarily sold on putting my desk stills in here. It won't let me do it though, because I think those guys are down there, so it gets a little crazy. Oh, wait. No, it let me do it. I was just dumb. One, and then two. Obviously, though, we got a problem because we're going to run smack dab into a wall. And let's see. It's the little things, you know, it's the little things that make such a difference. These guys don't even have to be here. We could move them someplace else because once you set them up and walk away, who cares? I got plenty of places I could put them, which means we could put desk stills along there if we move water tanks. Definitely an option. Before we get too crazy with everything, though, you know the deal, guys. Safety first. This is a little tight, but you know what? I'm probably not going to do this very often, so I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. It's a little weird. I usually do my stairwells much more open than this, but we can get through. It'll be fine. I put a spice generator right here if I wanted to. Heck. Although it is a little weird being as open as it is. I could put a solid wall there, but I'm not going to get too crazy. I'm not going to get too nuts. This is terrible now, though, so this has to be changed. But we solved one problem, now we've created another. We solved two problems, but now we've created another. I go put a donkey statue right there, and that's where we're going to end it. This is where I park my buggy, so that kind of needs to be open. But as you can see, I've still got quite a bit of space. We could put some water tanks along here. This corner doesn't really do much. When I bring the buggy and the sand crawler in, I'm able to kind of just come in and go this way. So, I mean, I can't put them here, but I can put them, you know, over in this section. I've also got plenty of room up here in the hangar. Now that I'm not bringing my cargo container in, I can put water tanks all along the wall there. That opens up the bottom room. And I could get crazy with the cheese whiz as far as putting desk stills along that wall. I think that might be a winning strategy. This one doesn't need to stay. I put this here just because I had to make myself a respawn beacon. But that's the only time I ever really used that. This is very handy. You should always put a repair station out in your deep desert base because you never know when something's going to almost break or be very, very close to breaking. And it's kind of a pain in the butt to go all the way to Haga just to fix it. The key to this, though, is you need to know how much of what you need to fix stuff. Like, for instance, I need aluminum and I need cobalt paste. I could make aluminum out here. I can't make cobalt paste out here. So I've got to bring that with me. It's in a lot of machines that you make, so I usually just bring a little bit extra specifically for that thing. And in fact, 63 out of 100, it's kind of time to take care of that repair belt right now. But this doesn't have to be here either. Neither does that. We could move both of those. In fact, oh, wait a minute. I think a repair place could go right in here, couldn't it? That still gives us enough room to come down. It was so good that I couldn't even finish saying it before we had to do it. Oh, it's plenty of room. Look at that. Might even put a carpet down. And like I said, I only made the respawn beacon because I didn't have one. So this guy, we're just going to break that. It doesn't even need to be there. This could now be space for death stills. I think we'll put water tanks there. We'll empty out most of that room. Not all of it, but we'll empty out most of this room. And we'll uncrowd this a little bit. And life will be great. Do you want some camera time? Is that what's going on? You're going to hit that camera, aren't you? Yep, I knew you were going to kick it. You just showed your butt to the internet. I hope you're proud of yourself. I hope you're proud of yourself. This cat, by the way, he knows how to open doors. Not with handles, but if they have like I don't even know what it's called, a lever style handle, he knows how to open it. He also knows how to flush a toilet. It's taken over. But he doesn't know how to get off this desk. Hey. Yeah, I know you're messing everything up, and now you're hitting that again. This is very expensive. Hop down. Come on. Come on, bud. Come here. Yep. Say goodbye to everybody. Say, all right. Glad I could walk through and interrupt. I'll put you over here, though, okay? You'd be good. Repair station instead of doorway. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not gonna have to access that carrier by hand. If I come over here to this is all the extra stuff that I brought out and have laying around. I can come up here and access this thing. So I don't need to walk up to it. Don't really need a door. I could put a door if I wanted to, but maybe worst case scenario, since I have that open spot right there, I could put a portal very similar to this as an access point to it. I do have the options. You know what? We'll do it and we'll see what it looks like. Now I have access to it if I really need it. It's a good amount of space there. Pen a shield to keep the rain out on a desert planet. That's a little confusing to the eyes, but I think I can live with that. Oh, you know what we should do? I'll tell you what we should do. Let's get rid of the portal. Boop. And let's put an actual door. Whenever you build a door, always make sure you go in, set it for owner. Doors are weak points. And nefarious bad people will find ways to, I don't know how they do it, but there was a glitch where people were able to do something about like associate or co-owner access or whatever. And if the power goes out, that sucker just opens up. Make sure you put it at 5, make it your owner. If you have any friends, make them co-owners and you can access it. What I also like to do is I enable it to automatically close. So if I ever open it and then walk away, it closes. But I do not let them open whenever there's a vehicle or anything else. The big garage door I have at the bottom of my base in Haga opens when my vehicle comes by. It does not open when I'm on foot, and it closes automatically. This will be kind of a pain in the butt because I'll be like stand out here and be like, oh, check out this stuff I got. Oh, let me put that in my cargo container, and boom, my face on it, and I actually have to hit E to open it. But this is not a door that we're going to use enough to warrant doing that. So thank you for GameScope. Thank you for reminding me that I thought about putting a door there. If I don't like it and find it's silly and I don't want to do that, I'll just blow it away and put a thing on there. Sparta, it's been a while, dude. How are you doing, man? I haven't seen you in a good while. Been doing all right? Oh, kitty, Jesus. All right. We're an hour and 15 minutes in and we're just playing with the base. This might bother me, but it might not. I don't know yet. Let's go ahead and we're going to move these tanks. You can do it like, can do it like this where it's just a little bit less running around, but then it kind of becomes a pain in the butt here. Probably going to mess with my head several times because I'm used to seeing that repair station there. That's good though, you know, a little bit of change makes the world go round. So with these guys, they take up a pretty good footprint, but you can make them closer together. I don't know if I have them closer together in here. Yeah, you can see like right here. I just kind of chucked them in here. See how close these two are compared to these guys? You can actually get them very close. I think you can overlap just a little. That light got in the way. So we got it right here, right? That's hitting the wall. That's what's causing that problem. Or the light, one of the two. You, sir, need to go over there. Thank you. Okay. No, man. As soon as you touch them, they get angry. But you can see you can get them suckers real close together. So I don't think I'll be able to get 4 here. But let's find out. I'm just going to pull that one all the way over so I could reset. And step. There's that. And let's go back as far as we can. Kitty wants out. Cool. All right. Now we got you. Yes, I know you want to get out, but I'm not going to let you. Nope. I'm not going to let you. I'm going to let him. Because he keep. I know what. Oh, well, we had it. Then we let it go. Pretty good. It's good. This is my second Jim Carrey movie reference in a single stream. Holy cow. So yes, I don't think I've got enough space to work a 4th one in, but we're going to try. I wonder if we angle these bad boys. Like instead of having them point this way, if they point towards us, I wonder if we could fit more in. Let's take a look. We'll try. It's a bit of an overlap. That's honestly not enough to cry about. We got the lineup was not bad. I think for the sake of tonight, we're going to leave it just like this is. But later on, we very well may move those guys. But that frees up an entire wall here for these to be a little bit nicer. You'll also notice that when I'm doing this, I'm not really getting too crazy about the lineup because I'm willing to change it or recognizing that it needs to change. Right now, I don't want to sit here and spend all this time and you know, ooh, look, it's a millimeter too far, etc. Because if I put it up here and then I go do something else and I come back and I'll be like, oh God, I hate this now. All that time was wasted. Just kind of bulk move everything over, and you can do those little finer changes at a later time. It's actually not too bad, but look at that. I could put another couple. And you, can I fit you under these steps? Where will you fit? Looks like that's as far as you're gonna go, huh? It's not bad. I could probably fit 2 more for a total of 5 death stills, which isn't bad. It's about 200,000 water in a 50-minute span. What I like to do with these guys is I'll turn them on, I'll throw a body in all of them, and then I go out and do something, because it's going to take 20 to 30 minutes to go out and do something. So by the time you come back, it's over halfway done, and whatever you're going to need the water for probably be on its way. The good thing about this is with a little bit of movement, we could make some changes here to be able to put another row like along this. We could actually take all these out, put them up in the upper hanger like I'd said, and we could put them along this wall where we could fit a whole bunch more. I'm going to stop right here. We've made some great improvements. Number one, we don't have to swing our carrier container into the upper hanger, which is great. It's got its own special little space that we can make a door and go through. And it's got a pentashield on top. We were able to maneuver that around, and it didn't require anything to be destroyed. We do have one more issue that I want to talk about, and that is if I'm going to make more death stills, I need more power. Because each one of these is making 350. Do you know how much a death still uses? It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. So each one of these death stills uses 350. What I'll probably try to do is I'm going to say 5. I'm going to put 2 more death stills down there, which means I need to come up with enough power to supply them. And I've got plenty of space for these guys to expand over this way. So I will put 2 more of these on. I'm not going to actually turn them on. I'm just going to build them if I can. I don't know that I can. I don't know if I have the materials for it. We're going to find out. Utilities. I can do 1. I think. No, I can do 2. Okay. Like I said, I'm not going to get crazy about the alignment. When I come out and build next time, that's when we'll worry about this. Oh, the box behind me is causing me issues. But that now takes care of the death stills. I'll space them out my next build. And I do still have a few options. Like I could put some here. I could put some on top of these. These are my little lookouts. Because you can go in there and you can look out over the desert and the sun doesn't burn you alive. I tried to make this a window, but it gets all dusty and nasty like this does. So it makes it kind of hard to look out. And that just makes me mad. But I could put them down here because I don't really need to get too crazy about that. We do have space. This actually works. Let's go take a look at this setup from the air. And we'll see what she looks like. I like how that turned out. I'm a minimalist. I don't really like getting crazy. I don't have to be flourishing and all that stuff, especially for a deep desert base. The whole concept here is I want this thing to be functional and efficient. I want it to do exactly what I want to do. No frills, no fancy stuff. You got a job to do, buddy. Get it done. We definitely got some lining. Definitely got some lining up to do. These guys are not right. We'll fix that in the last one. And these guys are not badly spaced, but this one over here is just kind of running off the side of the roof. What the heck's she doing? What's she look like from a distance? It looks blue and gray. I likes. I'm happy. I have a place to put the cargo container, which is super awesome. That's what the whole point of this was. And I built a set of stairs going down. Everything's not completely lined up, but it gives me something to do later. Right now, we've got a storm coming eventually. So we're going to have to break this bad boy down. Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh, look, I'm in my base. If small things make you happy, man, wallow in that. Don't let anybody tell you, what are you so excited about? That's such a stupid little thing. Dude, if something makes you feel good, rock on, dude. That's what it's all about. You'll be a much happier person. Okay, so let's say I'm done toying around with things. There's still a bunch of stuff I want to change, but we'll do that later. This is where I'm going to make my copy. Yeah, we're going to have to fix this. You know what I think we'll do? I think we'll bring this ramp all the way out. Not today. We'll bring this ramp all the way out, or at least a little further out. Not today, though. When I go to build it, that's when I'll do it. And we got to fill this in, or at least put some pillars or something. Again, not today. So what we're going to do is we are going to now equip our Celo replicator. And when we bring that out, it says copy building. Before you do that, I would suggest that you come in here and you make sure at your subbeef that you've changed its name. As you can see here, advanced subbeef console. If I were to scan that, the gun, when I look at it, is going to say advanced subbeef console. If you have more than one base and you make copies of them, or let's say you have one like this, which is a combo. Let's say you make a really small base that you're going to put out on Titanium Island in the PvE section so it doesn't get destroyed. It doesn't need to be this extravagant and all this craziness. You're not going to have a spice thing out there. You just want basically a base where you can collect materials and transport them wherever you need to go. So you don't need to put this big ginormous thing. If you have, let's say that you have a combo base, a Strabidium base, or titanium base, and then you have a spice base, and you don't change that name, you're going to be looking at your guns going, okay, which advanced subbeef is the one I want to use? So come up here, click on the little pencil, get rid of all that, and in this case, I'm going to put DD for Deep Desert combo base. This way, I know that this is the base that can do anything. Like I said, I can refine spice, I can do titanium, I can make fuel cells, I can repair stuff. I've got multiple hangars, cargo area space. I could fight people out of this base. I could refine materials. I can mine. I can harvest. I could do anything. So it's a combo base. We hit confirm. And now it says that. We come over here and we go to 8. And it says copy base. And as long as you're pointing at the base, boom, there it is. So now you'll see here where it says all pieces must be on your land. This is where the issue of staking units comes in. And this is actually hard to do this. Especially hard with an entire base sitting right there in front of us. When you do a transfer from one server to the other, they give you the option of having a snap to original, which is great because you just hit that button and it goes exactly where it should have been. This, unfortunately, does not do that. But you can see here the basic skeletal outline of my entire base. So when I break this thing up and head out for whenever, this is going to be in this gun. And I can, let's see. That makes a little more sense. Okay, we're dying of heat stroke, but this is how much I care about you guys. As you can see here, like right in front of us is the ramps, and look how much higher it is than was supposed to be. So we can do left control and your wheel to change the height, and we can bring this bad boy down a little bit to where it makes a little more sense. Now, even though the ramps are going down, they go pretty far underground. I'm going to bring this down right here. You can see how I'm pretty close to lining up where my base actually is right now. I've got a little bit of an issue on this side. The red means there's problems. I've got a whole bunch of red showing up because I'm trying to put a base that matches exactly on it. But what I'll do is I'll end up coming out here. I'll throw down my 2 staking units and we will place the blueprint once we get everything away from red. You see how it says placement blocked by another object? It won't let me place it because that's happening. You just want to keep going until you don't see a message where it says that it's blocked by another object or the character's in the way or too close to another fief or whatever, etc. Those kind of weird things. But this then creates this green blueprint, and all I've got to do if I have the materials is just run around and build. I don't have to select wall, select pentashield, select machine. I don't have to change anything. The gun will automatically, when I go through it, and it just builds everything. So once you've got a setup that you like, that you think is going to work for you, Celo it, and then you could just immediately pop it down. Once you get the blueprint, it turns a task that would take hours into something you can get done, depending on the layout and how, crazy and silly it is. You can get it done in like 30 minutes. There are a few tricks to doing it that you'll learn over time. For instance, it's actually kind of difficult when you're putting down foundations because let's say I do the ramps, right? I go ramp, 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 and then I do this, and then I go and I put these guys here. If I'm standing here and try to build this next piece of foundation, it's not going to let me because it thinks I'm trying to build the pentashield because that's between the two of us, between where I'm looking and where I'm not. I run into a lot of problems when I'm putting in the floors because I have these little chandelier light things. So when I go, ceiling, and then it says, oh, not enough structure. And I'm like, dude, okay. So I have to go to like a corner or an edge. It'll take a while to get used to doing that. But once you do, you can have this base up and running in an hour, get the water turned on and start producing on your way. It's a beautiful thing. It's one of the better things that they did in this game. And you'll see now when we look at it that it says, I'm pointing at it like that's going to help. Utility building tools, DD combo base. That's how I'll know this is my combination base. And I can grab that if I want. I do have Celo's for like a forward operating outpost, which is more combat related, if you're spicy like that. You can also, like I said, have one that is for Stravidium or Titanium, where you don't need as big of a footprint and as big options. Just make sure you change the name in the sub-fief. That way, when you do, it gives you an idea. So when you're looking at different Celos, you know which one you're trying to grab. You can, if you want, hit Y and get a preview, and it will show you. This is what it looks like when you try to buy one from the market too. But I don't have to press Y because I changed the name. So as soon as I see the name, I know which one I'm grabbing right away. Your call though. Content unlocked. So if you hover over Celo, you can hit preview and it will show you a bigger or a smaller rendering of it. Just change the name. That way you don't have to be pressing Y on stuff. Wow. Okay, so we've made our copy. Now I am free to start tearing this base apart. It is my hope that everything will fit. These we need to get out. I got a lot of stuff in this base, guys. I got a whole lot of stuff in this base. What I like to do is, let's see, I got one of these. I like to run back and forth inside my base all the time. That doesn't work. This one will work. This has just junk in it, right? So this is just stupid stuff. We're going to go ahead and bring this over to our backpack. And now I've got an open box. I'm going to go in here and we're going to pull all the water out so we can start draining water. First thing I like to do is I like to put materials that I know are going to be put somewhere specific, like finished product, different raw materials, things that I know I'm going to disperse somewhere in Haga. For instance, I've got a box that's for all my spice melange. So I'm going to put that in the very first section. There it is. I also have a box for this junk. I used to leave a lot of this behind as well because each one of these things is like 80 volume, and I'm like, dude, it's not such a big issue here. I mean, all of the spice melange, which is the biggest bulky stuff. Well, no, plastanium would be, but I'm at 2600 already. It's a little heavy. And this, we know where that's going to go. Check and see what's in here. Here's some extra strontium fiber. Put that in there. Here's some titanium that I mined but didn't do anything with. That was just extra stuff that I came across. Look, more. See what I mean? That was from normal runs. Like, think about where I'd be if I didn't go to Strontium Island, right? I'm going to bring you over so we could put these guys in and fill this up nicely. And then we'll put you in here. And then that. That one's empty. That one's empty. And the other one has helicopters in it. So, there we go. Let's see if there's anything in this. I don't think there is. No. Good. And there's nothing in there. And I've got just some fuel cells in here. Another key thing is if you expand this, you'll notice I have 5 fuel cells in here. I changed my output circuit because when you first build a vehicle or a piece of equipment, a machine, it's going to have circuit 1, circuit 1. This means what circuit does it draw from? So anything that's in a box that is circuit 1, it's going to be pulling from. And this is where does the output go? So the machine pulls from this circuit, makes something, and sticks it in here. The box sitting off right here on the side inputs from circuit 8, and it also outputs from circuit 8. It keeps me from using it. So if I were to come over here real quick, and let's just make one large fuel cell. I can't do that because there's already full. But I can do it. And if we walk over here and look at this, large fuel cell is going to pop right into there. It seems like a small thing, but the reason you want to do this for some machines, especially out in the deep desert base, is if you leave everything circuit 1, set up production to make a bunch of stuff, and then you roll out, you go out, you do something. When you come back, if it filled the machine up either by quantity or volume, any one of your boxes could have those extra items in. You would think it would put it in the closest one. I've actually, on my regular base, before I started doing this, I would make something, and it would be like downstairs. Like, it'd be 3 levels away, and that's where it stuck it in. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? So I just changed my circuits, and that kind of helps keep things sensible. That's what we shoot for here, folks. All right, so I got all the materials in the first little section there. And when I take my cargo container back to Haga Basin, that stuff, I know where it goes right away. Other problems I have, other items, are these 2 boxes right here, Uno and number 2. Let's go to number 2. This has some components of Thopter that I brought just in case I needed extra. Got some extra fuel cells. This is a bunch of stuff that I picked up in crashed ships and things like that. Some of these are really awesome items. Some of them I'm probably have a bunch of, and I'm not sure. This is all stuff that's going to go into storage boxes that are already pre-labeled in my base. So I'm going to put these in there now, except for the one I just did. This one, I'm not going to, because this guy actually gets used for some machines. Same with that. These things don't. These guys do, depending on what you're making. So I'm going to basically sort out what materials are required for base building and then what materials I'm going to store. And I'll bring those out as well. So these get stuck over. I don't think I need the machine parts. This is tricky because I want to put this back somewhere, but this also is something that is used for repairs. Um, I'm actually going to leave it out here. That's a blueprint. We don't need to leave that. That's just some extra things. I don't think I have anything that uses that. So we're going to take those. We definitely need fuel cells out here, so I'll leave them. Those are there. And I actually had a blank Celo replicator out here that I didn't even know I was using. I'm going to go ahead and take all these extra helicopter parts. And we're going to leave everything else there. Let's alphabetical that thing so it brings them all up together. And there we are. These are things that could be used for base building. So I'm going to leave them there. And when I'm going to take this cargo container back to Haga, unload all the stuff I made. And then I want to come back out here and I want to be able to fill the cargo container just with the stuff I need to get this base up and running. And when I go back to Haga, there's a couple things I'm going to have to put in there. I'll put in more filters because I know I used a bunch while I was out here. So I'll put a bunch of filters in. There is going to be some damage. So things like Servox, some duraluminum, some aluminum, some of just the general materials. I'll take that balance up. Say there's 425. I'll bump it up to 500. So when I come out here, I can just get everything up and running, whatever. That's why most of this stuff in the other box is out here. And I'll show you what I'm talking about with that. This one was kind of stuff I collected out here, just playing. This one is a lot of extra things that I didn't need, but brought out just in case when I was building. For instance, I've got 70 industrial pumps in case I wanted to make more water tanks. We've got calibrated servox, more machine parts. These things I'm going to leave in here. Agave seeds for lights. Most of this will stay. And then when I break the base down, all of this is going to go into that cargo container. Except for this. This is a spare equipment. I got some like sand treads and stuff that are slightly damaged. Those I can take back because they aren't part of base building. That's the mindset that I have on there. I want that cargo container to have everything I need plus a little extra to build exactly what I have right now to get it running as quickly as possible. So that is hey, good night, GameScope. I don't know if I caught that in time, but you got Sparta, you got a carrier and a sandcrawler all solo. Nice job, dude. Very nice. With the split between the PvE and PvP DVD, DVDs, DDs. It's a lot of letters. In the angry and friendly Deep Deserts, the friendly one, you can do well. My experience, at least here on my server, is it's a little crowded. It's going to take time for people to kind of get a feel for things and how they work. So there's a lot of people out here all the time, and it can make things a little difficult. I try not to get too upset about things. Like, a person comes out, they start compacting on a field I'm crawling. It's irritating, but we need to learn how to play together. We need to be friendly. I would rather they didn't do it just because it's going to summon a worm. The worm aggro picks up the compactor way faster than a sand crawler, but we'll deal with it. What I can't stand is when I'm crawling a field and some guy flies in with an assault and he jumps out and he's wearing nothing but his underwear and a pair of soft step boots and he just puts down as many shots as he can until the worm aggros. Then he jumps in, flies up in the air, worm comes by, he lands, and then goes and picks them all up real quick and real fast. That's kind of the stuff you do when you're solo. I never did that, but that's like a solo gathering technique. You're not solo anymore. You may not be teamed up with those people, but they are out there. So it's not horrible. It sucks that it's crowded. It's just going to take time for the community to kind of get an understanding. There's a lot of people that are out here now. It's the first time out here. They're excited. I remember the first time I came out, it was awesome. They get to go to large fields without potentially getting killed. So, shot at. But It's going to take a little bit of time. I made bank. Most of the spice melange you saw there was me on medium fields because everybody was so excited to be out there and they were flying around and bypassing the mediums in order to go to the larges because, oh, I'm on a large field. I'm so cool. Meanwhile, I'm just making bank on mediums. Worked out for me. Eventually, we'll do larges too. But all right, we are at 1:45. It's not going to be enough time for me to really get to do too much stuff. So I'm going to call it tonight because, like I said, I feel poo poo. And we had a good stream, though. The only thing that you're going to miss is me flying back to Haga with this cargo container and dropping all that stuff off, dispersing it, figuring out where it needs to go. The last thing I am going to do, though, is we are going to go to the box over here that we made and filled up with the water. So I'm going to take as many of these as I can, which isn't very many apparently. I mean, I'm just going to drop that in the sand, but tell you what, we'll put this, these I found, so I'm just trying to get rid of them. And if you need to get rid of small vehicle fuel cells, fly your carrier around anywhere. You will burn through those things. Holy cow, will you ever? Okay, that helped. That helped out a lot. Look at that. Okay, that's good enough. And now I'm just going to run over here and we're going to use this and I'm going to fill these containers. So I'm at 1 million now. Boop. Now we're down to 900,000. Then we'll go in here and we're just going to drop them off. Hi, kitty. Damn it. Do that all the time. Get a little too quick. I'll tell you what, we'll grab these. So now that I've got those full, I'm going to take these and we're going to put them in our backpack. And we're going to do the exact same thing. It's not going to be quite as brilliant, but boop, 830. So 840 we'll call it. Then I'm going to put all of these into my container, fly this back to Haga where I know I'm already kind of running low on water, and we're going to dump this into our Haga Basin reserves. And we are going to be super happy about it because I'm just going to refill the water that we desperately need there. We basically had 12 wind traps running, even though it was in 2 different places. We're going to bring the rest of this stuff because we don't need to have it out here. Oh, look, we found another one. I know me, I'm going to have to put that right there. Otherwise, I'll skip it. I got room for 30 more things. We'll bring some more Thopter pieces. Ah, wrong. Cargo carrier. So do this. This was in case I lost a Thopter or needed a spare one. The Celo to copy your base does not copy anything in these boxes. And in fact, it will not even copy the name, which is horrible, but it is what it is. What can we do? All right, so I said I wouldn't need it, but look, we're going to make use of this box right here, this door, because I built it. Damn it, I want to use it. We're at 144 out of 150. A lot of the stuff that we made and some of the excess things have already filled up this cargo container. Problem with that is we're nowhere near. I mean, we're not even halfway. We're close. But we've only got 6 spots left over. If I wanted to make this all in one trip, we'd be dumping this stuff on the ground. But let's not be too wasteful. So I'm going to make a run back to Haga, disperse all this stuff into the base, put it where it belongs, and then we'll come back out, and I'm just going to destroy the base. When I do that, what I like to do is I will pick a box like this one once I empty it, and I will stand beside it and I'll just boom, 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 break those. It's going to overfill my backpack, but when it does, it just puts it in a little blob, little satchel down here in the ground. once they're gone, I'll open this up, drop my items in, and then I can just pick these up and drop them right into this box by doing the quick deposit. Goes in real quick. Does the same thing. I like to take one of these boxes up on the roof, break all of the units on the roof, do the same thing. Makes it so much faster. You can theoretically just break this bottom wall all the way around, and everything that's in this base that's above me will all in one shot. Then I just have this ginormous satchel on the ground that I have to transfer everything over. But you can do that too. Up to you, however you want to do it. But that's going to be it tonight, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. The channel continues to grow. That's super exciting. It's May now, so we've got some members only stuff coming out. Any videos I make, I release them 24 hours early for members. So hooray. And we always do read member chat, and we also can't just run past those doors if they have to be open, right? No. The open doors, I think they can get through. That's why I don't do them. That's why I make sure those doors close all the time. The issue with that, though, is if somebody comes in and they have no permissions on anything and they can run in an open door, when that door does eventually close, they are now trapped in your base until you let them out because they can't get out. Technically, you own them, so they're like your little base gnome, and you could keep them for as long as you want. They can do the unstuck thing, which will get them out, but if the power's off and that door's open, or if you open it, here's a great example. I was the first time I met a random player was in Vermilius Gap, and we were running, like I came outside and there was a guy running straight towards me because one of the chome ships was doing the spotlight thing, and he just jumped into the door and right into my base, and then the light shined right behind him, so he almost got jacked. And then he was running around inside my base, but that door closed. Now he can't get out. So yes, if you have a regular type of door, if it's open, anybody can run through. That's why you got to be careful with those. But once it closes, they don't have the ability to open it again. You have to. So if you log out for the night, then they're done until you let them go or they unstuck. So, yep, you got to be careful with those. But like I said, I'm going to head out. I think I missed family dinner, but it's probably still warm, so I'm going to grab it. And then I'm going to come out here and as quickly as possible break this base down, get back to Haga, and I think we're going to call it an early night sleepy-wise, because I need a good night's sleep. Hopefully tomorrow will feel better. But I will see everybody again on Wednesday. Same bat time, same bat channel. I'm a Batman fan too. I really am, but I don't know. Lord of the Rings. Also, yeah, I should say, may the 4th be with you if you're a Star Wars fan. I kind of am. You can't see it real well, and it's really messy over there. But here, I'll tell you what. Let me show you something in honor of Star Wars Day. Yeah, I know. You want out? Yeah, I'll let you out. Oh, there you go. It's going to take a while. Hold on a second. Oh my gosh. It's more difficult than I thought it was going to be. Okay. Stay with me, everybody. Oh. Hold on. I'm still here. Yep. Almost. Okay. There we go. Now I'm coming back. Okay. So, like I said, may the 4th be with you. It's Star Wars Day. I don't even have my headset on, but I don't need to hear this for myself. But here's two things that I have from childhood that are really awesome. It is a tauntaun from The Empire Strikes Back, which is my favorite Star Wars movie, with Luke. And it also has the saddle. For those of you that are collectors, you'll understand how important that is. And you obviously can't have a Luke without a Han, with the saddle and the reins as well. There's those. And we also have for ourselves a snowspeeder, which is my favorite Star Wars vehicle of all time. It works, but I don't have batteries in it because you don't let batteries sit in these kind of things if they're not going to be doing stuff right away. Still has the harpoon, by the way. Another big thing. And then, finally, we have this. And it's the 1980s version of the AT-AT Walker, or AT-AT. You're not supposed to call it AT-AT, but hey. You open up this door, and I've got some figures inside, but again, I don't put the batteries in, but the head still works, everything moves, and of course, you gotta have pilots. What's the point? Complete, by the way. My dorkiness. It's not just swords on my wall, guys. It's very expensive, and so a little show into my world there. Battle of Hoth is iconic, dude. Oh my gosh, Minty, yes. I saw Star Wars at a drive-in theater. Tells you how old I am. But I was really young and I don't really remember it. But I do remember my dad, who's passed away, took me to see The Empire Strikes Back in a theater. It was just me and him. My sister didn't want to go, and my mom, Star Wars, ew. And I just remember sitting in that theater just in the Battle of Hoth. It was crazy. So, that is actually like a little one more thing. Oh my gosh. I need to clean this shelf anyway. It's very dusty. One more thing that you see on Hoth that I have that I didn't show you. Gotta have a Scout Walker. They only showed them for just a second, but they, there you go. This guy keeps falling over. I do not have a snow trooper in command of this one, so you have to. But I have a little army of. You're not going to stand properly, are you? I don't think you are. It's going to lay you right there. You stay right there. We will we'll address that in a second. But I've got an army of snow troopers in there in case they ever do decide to fight. But I'm not breaking those down. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me tonight. Sorry I geeked out on you there, but I just remembered the May the 4th be with you. So do have to address it. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you had a good time. I hope it was informative, and I hope it helped. And I will see all of you Wednesday. So as always, I'll see you out there. Take care.